The old house loomed before them, dark and gothic. Sisters Sarah and Anna stepped out of their car. The air grew cold, a shiver ran down Anna's spine. Sarah, ever the pragmatist, grabbed their bags. She marched towards the house. Her footsteps echoed in the silence. Anna trailed behind, her eyes fixed on the house's unnerving presence. "It's just an old house, Anna," Sarah said, her voice dispelling some of the gloom. Anna nodded, trying to convince herself. They reached the front door. The wood was dark and weathered. Intricate carvings adorned its surface, images of snarling beasts and tormented faces. Anna felt a chill. This place had a history. She could feel it. The inside was shrouded in shadows. Dust-laden furniture crowded the rooms. Cobwebs hung from every corner. "Don't you dare go near that mirror," Anna whispered, her voice tight with fear. Sarah, unpacking boxes in the living room, chuckled. "You and your ghost stories, Anna," she said, her tone light. Anna bit back a retort. She knew her sister wouldn't understand. Sarah, with her logic and skepticism, couldn't comprehend the feeling of unease that clung to Anna like a shroud. "This house has a bad feeling, Sarah," Anna insisted, her gaze drawn again to the mirror at the end of the hall. "I can feel it." Sarah just shook her head, dismissing Anna's concerns. "It's an old house. Of course it feels creepy," she said, her voice laced with amusement. "Just needs a bit of life breathed back into it." But even as she spoke, Sarah couldn't ignore the shiver that ran down her spine. She pushed it away, refusing to give in to her sister's superstitions. "There are stories about that mirror," Anna pressed, her voice barely a whisper. "Legends. People say it's evil." Night fell. Shadows stretched across the house. They twisted like phantoms in the flickering candlelight. Anna tossed and turned in her bed. Sleep eluded her. Every creak of the old house, every sigh of the wind against the windows sent shivers down her spine. She could feel a presence, watching, waiting. Fear was a cold hand gripping her heart. From the hallway she heard a soft sound. A whisper, a name, her name. Anna sat up, her breath catching in her throat. She strained to hear. The sound came again. Faint and ethereal, like a breath of wind carrying a voice from beyond the grave. Anna. It was close now, just outside her door. Anna threw back the covers and crept towards the door. Anna lay awake. The house creaked around her. Sleep was impossible. The mirror's image haunted her thoughts. Its dark, reflective surface seemed to beckon, promising secrets and terrors in equal measure. The house itself felt different at night, heavier, as if some unseen force were pressing down on it, suffocating it. A floorboard creaked outside her door. Anna's eyes flew open. She held her breath, listening intently. The sound came again, closer this time. Someone, or something, was moving slowly down the hallway towards her room. Fear turned her blood to ice. She wanted to call out to Sarah, but the words caught in her throat. Then silence, the oppressive, heavy silence of the grave. Section 5. Trapped in the reflection. Anna gasped, stumbling back. Her hand searched for the doorknob, but it was gone. The door slammed shut with a resounding boom that echoed through the silent house. She was trapped. Panic welled up inside her, threatening to consume her. She spun around, searching for another way out, but the hallway seemed to stretch endlessly in either direction. The figure in the mirror moved. It took a step closer, its form solidifying, becoming more distinct. It was a man, or at least something that had once been a man. His skin was stretched taut over his bones, his face a grotesque mask of decay. Empty sockets stared back at her, filled with a cold, malevolent intelligence. "Anna!" the figure rasped, its voice a dry whisper that seemed to claw at her sanity. "Come closer, Anna, join me." Anna shook her head, her body trembling uncontrollably. Section 6. A desperate struggle. Anna screamed for Sarah. Her voice echoed emptily through the house. The figure in the mirror smiled, a chilling skeletal grin that sent shivers down Anna's spine. "Your sister cannot hear you," it hissed, its voice a sibilant whisper. "She cannot save you." Panic clawed at Anna's throat. She hammered on the walls, desperate to escape the nightmare. But the walls were solid, unyielding. Anna looked back at the mirror. The figure was closer now. She could see the hunger in its eyes, the desperate yearning for a soul to claim. "Don't touch me," she screamed, her voice raw with terror. The figure chuckled, a dry, rattling sound that echoed through the hallway. "You cannot escape me, Anna," it whispered. "You are mine now." Anna's hand brushed against something cold and hard on the floor, a shard of glass. Section 7. Shattered reflections. A deafening crash. The sound of shattering glass echoed through the house. Anna opened her eyes, her vision blurred with tears. The figure in the mirror was gone. In its place, a spiderweb of cracks spread across the mirror's surface. The hallway around her was still and silent. The oppressive presence that had filled the air was gone. Anna fell to her knees, her body trembling with exhaustion and relief. She had escaped, for now. But the mirror? The mirror was still there, cracked and broken, but still a threat. She knew she wasn't safe, not while it remained intact. She scrambled to her feet and grabbed another shard of glass. Section 8. Fleeing the nightmare. A sound from behind her. Anna whirled around, her heart leaping into her throat. It was Sarah, her face pale with concern. "Anna, what happened? I heard—" Sarah stopped, her gaze falling on the shattered remains of the mirror. "What did you do?" Anna rushed into her sister's arms. "It's gone," she whispered, her voice trembling. "He's gone." Sarah held her close, her eyes wide with a mixture of fear and disbelief. She didn't understand, not fully, but she could see the terror that lingered in Anna's eyes. She knew something terrible had happened. "We need to leave," Anna said, her voice firm despite the tremor in her words. "We need to leave now." Sarah nodded, not needing any further convincing. Section 9. Lingering dread. The drive was a blur. Neither sister spoke. Anna stared out the window. The rising sun did little to dispel the lingering dread that clung to her. The image of the figure in the mirror, its skeletal grin and empty eyes, burned itself into her memory. She could still feel its cold, clammy touch on her arm, hear its rasping voice whispering her name. Sarah kept glancing at her in the rearview mirror, concern etched on her face. She wanted to ask what had happened, what Anna had seen, but the look in her sister's eyes stopped her. It was a look of pure terror, of something seen that could never be unseen. They stopped at a motel just as the sun fully rose. The garish neon sign and the smell of stale coffee offered a jarring contrast to the nightmare they had just escaped. Anna stepped out of the car, her legs shaky beneath her. The fresh air did little to clear the feeling of suffocating dread that clung to her like a shroud. Section 10. The curse remains. But deep down, Anna knew it wasn't over. The feeling of unease lingered, a cold knot in the pit of her stomach. The mirror might be gone, shattered into a million pieces, but she couldn't shake off the feeling that something had followed them. Something dark and hungry. They continued their journey, putting as much distance between themselves and the Victorian mansion as possible. But the memory of that night haunted Anna's dreams. The feeling of being watched never truly left her. She saw shadows lurking at the edge of her vision, heard whispers carried on the wind. Anna never looked in a mirror again. The thought of seeing that skeletal face, those empty eyes staring back at her, filled her with a primal terror she couldn't shake. The curse of the Victorian mansion, the evil that resided within its walls, had followed her. a chilling reminder that some things can never truly be left behind. If you enjoyed this tale, don't forget to like and subscribe for more haunting stories, and hit the bell icon to never miss an update.